Major Music.
What's good? Back with another episode of the Major Music Lounge. It's your host, D Dot, and today's guest comes by way of Brooklyn, New York, a producer by the name of Pzazz Psyxtine, a part of the label Pothole City, and he's going to talk to us about his journey creating music, some of his recent projects, and more. If this is your first time tuning into the Major Music Lounge podcast, I like to talk to other music creators about their journey, as we're going to do today, and any projects that they recently released, and anything else that they got going on. This is a place for independent music creators to come and just talk about what they're doing. If you're interested in getting on the podcast, you can hit me up on any one of my socials. It's going to be D._major music on TikTok, on Instagram, as well as Threads. And on Twitter, X is going to be D.mme. And if you hang around for the entirety of this interview, please consider subscribing to this channel. I like to post new interviews with other music creators every week on Fridays, or you could also catch this on all podcast streaming platforms. Now, let's go ahead and get into the interview with Pzazz Psyxtine. Back with the Major Music Lounge podcast. We got Pzazz Psyxtine, the mayor of Pothole City, joining the Major Music Lounge podcast. What's good, my brother?
Hey, man, I'm just blessed to be here, bro. Blessed to be making music and blessed to be on this platform with you, man, for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First and foremost, I definitely appreciate you hitting me up on Threads. And I know it took a minute, but I got back at you as well, and got a chance to listen to some of your work on Bandcamp. We're gonna definitely chop it up about that.
Okay.
But for the listeners out there, excuse me, tell us a little bit about how did you get started with music production,
Mm.
and who are some of your influences?
Mm. Well, as you can tell by the gray, I'm an old head in this thing, right? So I started back in '90 when I was starting the MC, and I couldn't find anybody to really connect beats the way I wanted them to back then. So, like '92, I started producing and just getting my feet wet, and I've been rocking ever since, man. I'm an artist first, and then I produce, but it just so happens that a lot of people that I meet, it's the same type of music that they like,
Yeah,
so I'm able to produce for them. Like I got a bunch of one-on-ones, one MC, one producer like that. So I make my bread and bones that way. But most of it all, I'm an artist, man. I'm originally from a little small town in Florida called Cottondale.
okay.
It's about an hour away from Tallahassee, a little small joint. And for me to be um, here in the Bronx right now is just a testament of leap of faith and trusting and skill set. And just that, I'm just an MC. That's what I do. I make a living doing other shit, but music is my DNA. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I totally feel you on that, doing other shit as well. And
Right.
I'm also an artist and a producer as well. Uh,
Right.
I kind of lean more so with the production, but from time to time I like to
Mm-hmm.
come out with
Mm-hmm.
something myself. But yeah, and I mean since '90, that's a testament to, a lot of hard work there. That's over 30
Yeah.
years right there.
Yeah, because the industry's changed, and I always wanted to be different than what's going out. So a lot of these trends that are happening, I've already done, so they're kind of old to me. But because people are already catching on, I'm always want to stand out. So anything I put out is going to be different than what's going on in the industry. Period. That's just
Yeah.
a goal of mine. Always been.
Yeah, yeah, you got to keep that goal. Now,
Mm-hmm.
like, um, as far as your production style or your creative workflow, for example,
Mm-hmm.
do you make beats mostly with those artists that you work with in mind, or do you just kind of create based off of how you're feeling or how you're vibing that day?
Well, it goes like this is a normal process when I'm dealing with an artist. I'll hit him with a stash of 16 beats because I had 16, so that's where that come from. So I hit him with a stash of that, and then they choose out of that. once they choose, they'll choose maybe 5 out of 16. So now I know where their taste is. So now I cater them another 16 according to the 5 that they already done. And then I'll start putting little tags on it and saying, this feels like an emotional joint. This feels like, as the artist comes out of me, I kind of guide the artists themselves on what to say on this particular record, once they get it. And then before you know it, we have albums done. And they'd be like, wow, I can't believe it. And then they'd be like, this is the most heartfelt stuff I've done. And I've always catered the second batch to exactly how that artist is and what they do.
Yeah, yeah. Very similarly, like I might send a pack
Mm-hmm.
of about 15, maybe 20 beats to an artist. And um, like
Mm-hmm.
recently I was working with an artist based out of Detroit, and that's how I kind of sent the tracks to him, and I saw what he
Mm-hmm.
liked. So I just continued to make more of that particular sound. But
Right, right.
that's subconsciously I always kind of find myself, even when I don't initially start the beat, I might not have anybody in mind, but then by the time
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with the beat, I'm like, oh, this fits this
Mm-hmm.
artist, this fits
Yeah,
that artist.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's kind of cool how that works. But I've also, I like to sometimes, if I have an artist here in the lab with me, and create together with them. So
That's the best way. That
yeah,
really is. It really is. It's just that everything's so convenient now that you can talk to people across the country. Like you said in Detroit, I've actually dealt with an artist in Milwaukee. Never met the brother, but we cool as hell. Like
yeah, yeah.
I'll give him the shirt off my back, vice versa. That's just the way it works. Sometimes you can feel the vibes over the internet when you just take your time and find out who does what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. It's like saying, well, I met him one time actually a year ago. Actually, no, that was earlier this year. Now that I think about it, but
Mm-hmm.
I was out in Detroit, and I'll be back down there soon. But it's kind of cool. Like I've been meeting more and more people that have been on a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
just traveling, or some of them might come through to Dallas, and we connect. And that's kind of cool in itself, just
Yeah.
being able to meet some people that's been a part of the platform. So
Yeah, yeah, I bet, and it's always good when you do meet, when you do finally get to connect with the people that you do work with, and it's a great vibe, and it's like you've known each other from day one.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Especially
And
if you're choosy and picky about the person that you mess with, it always works out the best. Always,
it always works out the best.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I noticed you got that rack behind you,
Mm-hmm.
full of vinyls.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you use to make your beats?
Well, I still deal with the ASR 10.
Okay, all right,
I
word,
still
word.
deal with that, and I deal with Fruity Loops. So now what I do is I sequence and cut everything in the ASR and then drop it into Fruity Loops because Fruity Loops is just way easier to manipulate. But yeah, I love the ASR. I still deal with it. You know.
That's a classic piece of gear right there. I think
Yeah, yeah. I've been through like 4 of them. Yeah, at least 4 of them. Just they just break down. You can't get the disc, the drives and all that stuff. So I've been blessed. I still got beats from '90 on some discs. You know what I'm saying? I still got
Yeah,
a lot of joints,
and
man.
I mean you've had the like experience of working basically in the analog era and the
Mm-hmm.
digital era.
Mm-hmm.
When I started making beats, it was early 2000s. Like my first program really was like Sony Acid, and then I moved on to
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
Reason
yeah,
3.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. All
but
that
like
Cubase. Mm-hmm.
what was that? I always like to ask sometimes because I never really got a chance to make beats in that era of, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of analog gear. What was that like in comparison to what we have today?
Okay, so on the pro side, the music was warmer, and you felt the vibe of the song, and your cuts didn't have to be perfect. Whenever you're doing your chops, they're not always perfect, but the way you lay them in the sequence, it always comes out right. Backside is that you couldn't record into the hardware unless you
Yeah.
had a lot of and then you have to sit around for hours trying to save waves and stuff like that. If you had somebody, if you did a vocal session within the machine itself, like I've done it with an ASR, and it took forever. You know what I'm saying? Because everything I've done has been grassroots. I haven't had money to go to the studio like I want to. So everything I've done, I've been like, okay, I'm self-contained unit basically. So, but I would say time. That's all. But I enjoy both of them because the warmth of the music is always the vibe that you want people to listen to.
Yeah.
I'm a patient dude, so I can sit around and take my time to lay stuff out. I'm cool with that. So I always think about the art. I don't think about the money of it. I think about how this thing's going to sound at the end and what it's really going, how's it going to touch people.
Yeah, yeah. Like the closest I guess I got to that analog hardware, I would say was the MPC 2000 XL. That to me just
Mm,
had
mm,
a different
mm.
sound than,
Yeah, the drums on that.
yeah, drums hit hard in
Yeah.
comparison to like, and the MPC one is cool. I love it. I have one
Hmm.
right here, but
Right. Right.
it's just something about the workflow and the sound of the MPC 2000 XL. And I
Hmm.
had one years ago, but it started to go out on me, and I ended up getting rid of it. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's probably the closest I came in the fact that you had to use those zip disks in
Yeah.
order to load your sounds on the
Yeah.
MPC.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah,
if that
so
crash, you just asked out because you couldn't find another zip drive from somewhere like just like that. You have to go search, and then it didn't have the internet, so it was not like you can go on eBay and find it. You had to literally go to the stores and travel, and it's a mess. It was a mess, and the company in Sonic, they really uh they made them to last, but when they crash, they crash. You know what I'm saying? And so many people still got the ASR and the EPS. You know what I'm saying? And because it's vintage and it's always going to be, and a lot of the major people who first started out on the ASR. You had RZA, you had Kanye, you know, and it just list just keeps going on. People don't realize why they were attracted to their older stuff as opposed to the new stuff is because of the warmth that those machines were giving off, the feeling, the vibe, the goosebumps that you get because you couldn't believe how this thing was manipulated. And then the machine added a little noise to it in the back.
yeah, yeah.
You know, like if it was vinyl, if vinyl was could been transformed to audio, that's what that was. It's that little thing that just made you feel like this is hip hop. This is grit. This is what I want. You know what I'm saying? So
Add that extra to your
uh-huh.
drums
Yeah,
and
because it'll like if you got to kick the drops, that little punch be on the bottom of it, and it'll just make that kick just spread out, and you just thump harder. When you have speakers, you be like, dang, that joint hitting. And you didn't think it would be hitting like that in the machine when you hear the headphones on, or even with your monitors. But when you hear it in the car, you be like, oh, I didn't know. So a lot of people, that work with the ASR, and I'm proud to say I have. You know what I mean? I'm proud. Yep.
yeah, I remember I watched a YouTube video years ago when Alchemist was talking
Hmm.
about
Yep.
him
Alchemist. Yep.
using the ASR 10 at one
Yep.
time.
Yep.
And
Yep. Yeah. Havoc uses
yeah,
it.
yeah, Havoc as well. So
Yep.
yeah, it holds a spot in hip hop history.
Hmm.
That along with the MPC, um, the SP 404. Now
Yeah.
I wanna get one of those eventually myself, but they all got their own unique sounds and characteristics as well.
Hmm. True. True that.
Now, I got a chance to listen to Rebel and a Peacemaker,
All right. Hmm.
Return of the Essence.
Okay.
Very dope project, by the way. Some
Thank
of
you.
my favorite, no problem, no problem at all. Some of my favorites are Bonfire, The Essence, and
Uh-huh.
Three.
Uh-huh.
And what was your inspiration behind the sound, behind the overall production on this album?
Well, Rebel and the Peacemaker is me and my partner from Baltimore. Um, we were always, and he's a producer down there, and he had massive people. He was doing like 50, 60 groups down there. They was going strictly to him. But that kind of died off because there was a sound that was coming in and it was keyboardish, and it lacked soul to the what we considered hip hop. So we were like, it's basically it's people would say it's hate because of the sound that was coming in and making all this money, but we were just like, no, you guys go ahead with that. We still gonna stick to what we know, and we're gonna return it to the essence of what hip hop is all about. So that's how we attacked this whole project. We went in purposely to create that old feeling, the nostalgic feeling of music, and then we sat together. He came up for a weekend and we wrote the album in the weekend. Just
Wow.
me and him just sat down and then just wrote, and we finished. We did about 20 songs and we chopped it down to first it was 16. Now that I'm remastering it, it'll probably end up be like 14 songs,
Okay. Yeah.
because it's still relevant today, still feels good today. And that's the whole idea, is always come with something that can last the test of time and it sounds as good as it was when it first came out. So that's the essence behind that. We just wanted to do actual hip hop, didn't want to lose that flavor of what's going on.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. Mentioning earlier when you
Hmm.
started to produce music
Yeah.
and growing up in that era as well, like it took me back to around that time, that sound, that gritty New York hip hop sound, boom
Right,
bap hip
right,
hop sound.
right,
And
right.
that's what I feel in a lot of your music. And kind of like I said before, I really like your style and what you guys are doing. So keep
Thank you.
that up.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. My partner, we believe it or not, we did that album. We started in '99 and we finished it about 2004. We put it out like 2006. And because the industry was just so far gone, it really didn't get any feet on it. And but we always loved it, and we still, when we do shows, people always request where the love at, and we still rock that show. We still do our thing on it. And but my partner decided he didn't want to do any more music after that, because he was just discouraged about everything. So I just kept the torch, man, and that's how Pothole City became. Because first we were Killer Beats Design, and then when we kind of split and did our, then I said, okay, well let me go ahead and recreate or keep on this path that I'm on, but I got to come with a new mission, new rebranding, and so that's where Pothole City came from, and it's a testament to uh, my durability, not patting myself on the back, but I love hip hop. It's always going to be in my DNA. That's what I do. That's what I know. If there's forums, people talking about rap and all that, how you people used to come over and blah, blah, blah. I'm all in that. I'm all for that because it's my DNA. Like I've been 4 or 5 years old. I grew up in hip hop. Basically, I grew up watching people rock mics and then like I want to be part of that. And back in '93 to '95, I was in Tallahassee, and we made a group called Heads from the Attic, and we were really just trying to get that vibe. And then we all moved up to New York. You know, we said we're gonna get a deal, be back in 3 months. We're gonna be back down in Florida. Okay, let's do that. And 3 years later, I'm the only one here. Everybody else is
Wow.
gone. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I always wanted to do music, but everybody else, to me, had an agenda. I was all about crew, but it seemed like everybody else had an agenda. They wanted to get a deal, they wanted to do that and be out. So that's what they did. I'm like, I'm in the essence. I'm here. I love what I'm doing. This is my heart. This is what I do. This is where I am, and I'm staying here. So that's what I'm all about. And even people I've dated, they know the music comes first. People I've married, they know the music comes first. So they're able to work around it because they understand that it is who I am. And if I can't do music, I can't live. It's plain and simple.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I totally feel that because I've done the kind of group thing myself a
Mm-hmm.
couple of times, and
Right.
it's just amazing through the years. Like some of them are still doing music, but a lot of the people that I came across over the years, because
Yeah.
I've been doing this since, like '06-ish,
Mm.
that they're not involved anymore. And,
Right.
it's
Right.
kind of funny sometimes when people see me and they're like, "Oh, you still doing this?" And I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
this is me."
Yeah.
And, like I wouldn't say that I slowed down to some degree, but I know eventually, like, my goal at the end is to mainly produce. I'm probably gonna still rap here and there, but I just
Mm.
want to mainly produce. But
Mm.
like, I'm always in some way, shape, or form gonna be involved with music, one way or
Uh-huh.
another.
Hmm. For sure.
Now,
For sure.
now,
And that's and I think that's the beauty of music is if it's really in your soul, you just do it and you don't really care what people say. Like I got family members that still celebrate Rebel and Peacemaker album. They heard it, they love it. It's not the sound of the South, but they love it because they love me.
yeah,
And I do the art on it. So I'm always going to be an artistic dude about it, even when I'm old and gray. Granddaddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm still doing this. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I got 3 grandkids. I'm still doing this. You know, I it's just who I am. When I pass away, they need to be playing my music. You know what I'm saying? Play my music. Play that. That's what I want to hear. I want to get up one last time out of the casket and bust a windmill and get back in the casket and go. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. It's like,
I'm being facetious, but you understand what I'm saying.
oh
It's my
yeah,
heart.
definitely,
It's what I am.
definitely.
It's
It's
what I
like,
am, man.
when people ask you if you still do music, you
Hmm.
can't unlearn a skill that is a part of you.
Right,
It's gonna always be a part of you. So
right. And when it first happened, when people still were doing that, it was a little twinge, and then I'm like, wait, this is who I am. No, no, no. Yeah, I still do music and poke your chest out and then press play, watch. And you see, and they be like, oh, okay. And so that's what it's all about. And I'm just happy that I'm still able to make music. I just dropped a project with my partner. We call it Odd Partners, and we just dropped this joint in. We got this joint called Love Party, which is really taking off right now, and we just really happy about it because it's a summer banger, and it's a beat that I've been holding on for about 30 years, believe it or not. It was one of the first beats I ever made. I just kind of reshaped it and then put it back out, and because I have a bunch of my old beat tapes, so I'm able to go back into them and listen to them and update them and rock that way. And then I actually have a partner in Oklahoma City that we just dropped an album called Year of the Icon, the Book of Life. He's from Oklahoma City, and his name is MC Windwalker. We just dropped this joint, and it is really it's. I just got to go check it out. It's really
yeah,
dope,
yeah,
especially in that area, in the Dallas area, because that's the target where we're going. We're going for Dallas. We're going for Arkansas. We're going for Oklahoma, Nebraska. We're going for Missouri. That sound is what's on this album, and I think if he ever gets great legs on this joint, it's really going to take off. We already got major spin, believe it or not, on major radio stations out there in Oklahoma City. So it's just a matter of it just branching out and taking off. So I'm really happy about that. I'm able to be versatile with the sounds that I put together.
yes,
It's not always East Coast big boom bap. I got jazz albums, I got R&B albums, I got gospel albums. You know what I'm saying? I got lo-fi albums, I got West Coast albums. It's a lot. When people want to work with me, we'll work with them until they no longer want to work with me. Meaning that if their speed doesn't match my speed, I kind of fall back, and I find myself
yeah,
doing that a lot. Like, okay, I can't keep calling you and saying, "Yo, send the vocals, and let's rock," and you don't have the same gumption as I do. Then I'm gonna be like, "Oh, what's that over there?" And then I start going over there doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm an artist first. I'm gonna always want to do my shit first, always. But I'll put my stuff to the side if somebody shows me the same heart, but just didn't have the attention, the damn, what's the word? Opportunity to do music the way they want to. But a lot of people are scared of success.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people
I've been
scared to say
running into a lot of that myself. It's like
that. A lot of them, yeah.
I've been sending beats to certain people
Mm-hmm.
and they never do nothing with it and they ask for more beats and I'm like,
Right, right,
you
right,
know, I'm
right,
not gonna keep sending and you're not doing anything. I'm gonna send it to
right.
somebody that's gonna record on it or if somebody want to do business, it's
Mm-hmm.
up for grabs.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Now, noticing when I was going through, and that's how I could also tell you've been at this music for quite some time. I noticed on your Bandcamp there was like releases going all the way back to like '07, '08-ish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, one is like, do you solely release on Bandcamp or do you put your music in as many places as possible?
I do as many as possible as far as the platforms, but if they really want to support who I am, they can go to Bandcamp. I will get most of the proceeds. I tend to put stuff up on Bandcamp before I put it in the platforms. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I've always operated. I and then if I'm working with somebody who's an artist and they're like, when's it gonna get posted, when it's gonna put out, then I'll go their route and have it put up on platforms for them so they can, churn out their music and point people to what they're doing. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of like um I've interviewed some other people that they did something similar, and I do it as well, putting my music on Bandcamp. Eventually, it hits all other streaming platforms as well.
Right.
But
Hmm.
like, with a lot of the maybe average user fan, or excuse me, music fans don't know is on Bandcamp, we make a lot more in
Yeah.
comparison than the streaming platforms.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
if you really want to support, somebody that you know and you see that they have music on Bandcamp, go
Hmm.
ahead and purchase it through there because it's going to help them a lot more than it would, by streaming it on Spotify, especially there.
Yeah. Especially.
Apple Music and all these other streaming platforms. But the reason I asked that question because I know like there are some artists and producers that they're solely starting to go with that model of almost a direct to consumer type
Hmm.
model instead of going through
Hmm.
the streaming platforms.
Hmm.
But like, I understand the case for both. I understand the case that we want to make more off of our music on Bandcamp. But I also understand wanting to put your music everywhere at the same time because like there might be people that are tapped in with Bandcamp, like
Right.
other music fans, but then, your average person that might be scrolling through online, they see it might be a release on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube
Hmm.
Music or wherever.
Hmm.
And, they might be more inclined to go there
Right.
instead of going through Bandcamp and having
Right.
to, sometimes sign up for an account. But I don't know. I think you can definitely do both. You definitely want to catch opportunities everywhere. But like I've known some people that drive their Bandcamp more, even though they have their stuff on other platforms as well.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely rather do both of them. I'd rather do Bandcamp than the other platforms. But like you said, the casual user around the world, they just want to click on on a platform and find something and they rock. Bandcamp is usually mostly for people who are trying to be fans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you can sell your album for $6 to $8 and they'll pay $30 because they appreciate the music or their fans. And I love the Bandcamp idea about that the artist can, I mean, that the consumer can pay more, you know, if they want, as opposed to, the platforms who just take the streaming service. And, just listening to the horror stories of streaming service, man, and a small, independent like me, there's really no money in there for me. If I wanted to go that route, I would have to get billions of streams just to get $45,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what kind of effort do I put in the platform on those platforms, and they're not paying out properly when as opposed to just have everything centralized and then, it's a when people get on there and they click. and then hear one album, like, oh, that's dope. Let's see what the other album is. Click, oh, that's dope. Then so now they're in that rabbit hole, and then now they're telling other people, about it, as opposed to just glossing over what promotions and marketing has told people to go. Like, I love the new Clips album. They were all
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
place. The new a new listener would just go to the platform. You know what I'm saying? And just go click, click, click. But a fan will be like, yo, where's your website? Let me go to their website. I want to pay them, and go that route. So you always got to have both of them, because it's 8 billion people in the world. If I can get 10,000 of them to like my music, I'm in heaven. I quit my job.
yeah. I mean, when a lot of people, and the casual music fan, I guess you could say, they'll
Hmm.
see somebody has, I don't know, a couple of thousand Spotify streams or, whatever that looks like. And it, the optics of it might lead someone to believe that they're making a lot off of that. But when you really
Right,
dig down, like,
right, right.
I'd rather have, if it's even 8 people buying a $10
Hmm.
CD or, excuse me, album off of Bandcamp, I'd
Right,
rather have 8 people purchase that in full rather
right,
than those same eight
right.
people just streaming
Hmm.
it on Spotify.
Right, right.
And they don't grasp the concept that, sometimes on those, well, a lot of cases on those streams, again, they look good, but it's not really helping the artist or the producer, profit that much. It's more so just exposure. So,
Hmm.
like, you would almost think that they think Spotify is the, end all be all when it comes to releasing music, and it's not.
Right,
If you're
right.
doing good in another place, you might as well keep feeding that machine more.
Right, right.
For the remainder of 2025, what else is on plan for you? Mhm.
You go over them can of worms? All right.
Mhm.
All right. So let me run it down. So right now we're still promoting our album, which is the Odd Partners and Book of Life. Let's see. Uh, I'm working with Crumb Snatcher from Boston. We've done a 3 CD set, and we're doing the fourth one now, which is remixes. And then at the end of the year, we hope to put that out as a box set. Um, I canceled one particular one, which was called Cars, Clubs, and Cookouts. By the way, it's copyrighted, and that was going to be one for June, one for August. But I said I'm gonna wait till next year to do that. So now I'm working on my partner's uh, album, the Micro EP. I'm working on Old York. They got a one called Chicken and Broccoli. They're a group from Jersey. Working with them, I'm setting up all my solo stuff, which I'm trying to do like 2 singles a month, starting in June and January, and at the end of the year, put that out as a double CD as well. Um, let's see, I'm doing remasters to the Bigger Skills, the New Yorker, um, Delaware Chuck, Interstate Easy. I'm doing a series called Dopest You Never Heard of, which I got 5 so far. I'm dropping ones a month, so I got like 5 people that I'm taking their old stuff and doing remixes on them and putting them out to the
Yeah.
the public, so people can consume them and they can go to their spot and involve and get into their artistry. I've already cleared it with those artists. They're cool. I'm putting out I got 3 compilations: Pothole City, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. Putting those out. Those are just songs of people I've worked with for over the years. Um, the old stuff that you heard on it, like 2007, 2008, those were called tax free write offs because I was actually in the industry purposely doing remixes. People were paying me to remixes, but they never put them out for some reason. So I'm just remastering all this stuff so that at the beginning of the year, people can go to my website and they can purchase everything there. I'm gonna do it for the entire year, like $100. You can buy the whole discography. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So I just want people to get engaged in what's going on with music and enjoy music what it is. So
Yeah. Yeah, we
Tune
bet.
in January 1st. It's gonna be close to 50 projects at least. You know what I'm saying? So, and because I own them, I have the masters, I could do what I want public and let them understand that Pothole City is here and our group, our conglomerate is not going anywhere. You know, we have a lot of stuff. The Old York, I got the Regiment, I got the Renaissance, a lot of projects, bro. That's why if people fall off, I got something else to do. So it's like, yo, you stick with it or get left behind because I got a lot of stuff to do. And I enjoy making music. I enjoy putting it out, and I make sure that it all sounds fresh, like it happened yesterday. You know.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes,
mhm.
sir. Gonna definitely be looking forward to what comes next. And
Yeah,
kind of
man, I
like I
appreciate
said
it, man.
before, no
Yeah,
doubt, no doubt. Uh,
and things might mess around. We might have to end up doing a collab project,
yeah,
me and
man.
you. And I'll spit and let you do all the beats. You know what I'm saying? For
Yeah,
real, for real. You know
yeah,
what I mean? I'm
actually,
all about music. I'm all about making sure that whoever I'm involved with does what they want to do in the art. That's what I'm about. If you're an artist or a producer and you say, you know what, I really want to do this and do that, I'm with it. I'm with all of it. I'm with all the smoke. I'm with it all because I'm not pigeonholed into one spot. I can do it all. I can make any kind of beat. I can do any kind of style, whatever they want. It's just a matter of them getting what they want and not being afraid of success. Because a lot of people, like I said before, get it and they be like, "Oh, I didn't think he was really going to do it. Dang, what I next?" You know what I'm saying? I put it to the side. You know, and people get discouraged because now you got no excuses. You know, you got no excuses. You got the music, you got the art the way you want it. Now, what you gonna do? You're gonna put it out. You're gonna hold on. You're gonna stick on it. So, like I said, I keep it busy, man. I keep it busy, and I enjoy what I do.
yeah, you got to. You got to have
Hmm.
the longevity and success you had, my brother. Give all of our listeners
Yep,
your social media handles.
yep. IG, Pothole City. Put it as one. Put it as Pothole City, 2014. Pothole City underscore 2014. Pzazz Psyxtine. The Odd Partners. All that's IG. TikTok, X, Pothole City 2014. Just put it as one word. You'll get it. On Facebook, unfortunately, they won't let you put a business name for what your name. So you can look under my group name, which is Pothole City, established 2014, which is a group name. I put everything in there as well.
Go ahead, hit Pothole City, Pzazz
Mm-hmm.
16 with a follow on socials. You can follow me on Instagram at d._major music. Same thing on TikTok and Threads, as well as at
Yeah.
X Twitter at d.mme. And then if you hung
Right.
around this long for the interview, please consider subscribing to the channel. Like to post new interviews every week with music creators
For
on
sure.
Fridays. And we appreciate
For sure.
Pzazz coming on and chopping it up with us. And, kind of like I've said, looking forward. Anytime you have anything that comes out, you want to come back on and chop it up, feel free to hit me up.
For sure, man. Yo, I appreciate everything you've done, bro. Everything you've been doing. Keep rocking for the culture, bro. Word up.
Definitely appreciate you. Appreciate you. This has been D Dot
Yeah.
and Pzazz 16 on a Major Music Lounge, and we're out.
Ain't gotta say much, the winning speaks for itself. Winning speaks for itself. Winning speaks for itself. Everything I blaze gotta be top shelf. Gotta be top shelf. Gotta be top shelf. Ain't gotta say much, the winning speaks for itself. Winning speaks for itself. Winning speaks for itself. Everything I blaze gotta be top shelf. Gotta be top shelf. Gotta be top shelf.